Welcome back. You're watching Liquid Lunch on Newsmax TV. I'm John Tobacco. I like to cover the money. I like to keep you up to speed on what's happening in the markets. But on Liquid Lunch, we want to serve it to you straight. And there are things going on in this country right now that make you need a drink, maybe even more. And to talk about all the craziness going on and how our country is going in an even worse direction these days, Joe Connor joins us. Joe is the co-author of the book Shattered Lives. He's also the co-founder of We Win America. Thanks for joining us. So,
Thank you.
33 years ago, when your dad was 33 years old, next week, January 24th, will be the 45-year anniversary, where your father, innocently went out to a lunch at Francis Tavern in downtown Manhattan here, and a group led by, Oscar Lopez and the FALN terrorists blew the place up, taking your father from you and your family.
That's right. We were going to be celebrating my 9th birthday that day, and my brother's 11th. And my dad worked at the Morgan Bank. He was going out for lunch with some colleagues and clients. They went to Francis. He didn't particularly love Francis, but that's where they went. It was where George Washington bid farewell to his officers. It was where liberty was founded in this country. He and his colleagues sat down, and a bomber walked in, placed a bomb behind the table where he was sitting, and within a few minutes it detonated. It murdered 4 immediately. About 60 were injured terribly. And we were left, my mom, an Irish immigrant, and my grandmother, her only son, was murdered. And we were left to fend for ourselves after that on January 24th, 1975.
But you didn't take it laying down. You've spent a lifetime since then confronting, tracking down, and keeping awareness in the world about what happened with these heinous killers. One of them was Oscar Lopez, who was, leader of this FALN thing. We'll get into Melissa Mark Viverito, but how have both presidents, Clinton and Obama, treated the folks who are known to have murdered your dad?
Well, in 1999, when Hillary Clinton was running for senator in New York, she was getting her campaign together, Bill Clinton gave Eric Holder a task, and that was to get these terrorists out of prison. It was to connect Hillary with the Latino community in New York. They denied these guys were terrorists. They said they never hurt anybody. And they gave clemency in August 1999 to 14 members of these FALN. Then they didn't accept it. They were given 30 days to have conference calls with each other between prisons. On September 10th, 1999, all but Oscar Lopez accepted their clemency, and they walked out of prison. So they were using my father's murder, my father's life, my father's death for political reasons. And that's why, my father was a victim, but I'm not.
Right.
And we fought back against them. And and then Obama, in his last day in office, gave Lopez a second clemency for the same crime. Now, in 2011, I went out to the prison in Terre Haute, Indiana, faced Lopez, and kept him in jail with my brother and a man who was at the table with my dad, and a woman whose husband was murdered that day, too. So we have been proactive. On September 11th, my father's godson, Steve Schlag, was murdered in the World Trade Center, as I just commuted through there, as I did every day. So our family has really rallied, and we try to stand up for the families of the victims, not to be allowed to be victims, or to let people use our loved ones' lives for their political gain. I mean, I went to Guantanamo Bay, and I was in the courtroom with Khalid Sheikh Mohammed and the other terrorists. And then Obama at the time is releasing these people and going to Cuba.
Right.
He was planning a Cuba trip, where one of the FALN members, William Morales, who escaped, is in Cuba with Joanne Chesimard and other terrorists. So there's a whole network out there. And, my goal, I guess it's become part of my life, is to get justice.
So I want to ask you must share some of my views on this guy Soleimani's taking out this guy Soleimani. To me, he's nothing but a terrorist.
Yeah.
The state that's around him is a fabled state. They're just terrorists.
It's a terrorist state, and he's a terrorist. If we didn't take him out, we had chances to take out bin Laden back under Clinton, and we didn't do it. And you see what happened to my cousin Steve and 3,000 others, and all the cops and firemen are dying every day. So, it would be criminal if we didn't take him out, not criminal that we did.
Right. And this guy, he's not a general. right? He's a terrorist.
He's a terrorist. I mean, look, you're in Iran. I mean, you had Muammar Gaddafi in that part of the world call himself a colonel. Who the hell knows what he was? But these guys were. He had the title general. He was not beloved. He was feared. He was hated. You know, it's such a joke. It's a travesty and disgusting.
And then right here in New York, Melissa Mark Viverito, former city council speaker, thought it was her place to take this Oscar Lopez guy and make him the Grand Marshal of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. They wanted to celebrate this guy, and now she's running for Congress. What do you have to say to people who are thinking about voting for someone who killed your dad, being to her an idol?
It's insane. Look, there's one thing to release a terrorist. There's another thing to make him the freedom hero of the Puerto Rican Day Parade. Oscar Lopez, I would ask Viverito, if not for being a terrorist, what did Lopez ever do to help the people of Puerto Rico, or to try to help the people of Puerto Rico? He was jailed for being a terrorist. She supported him, and I faced her. I went to Gracie Mansion a few years ago, and I introduced myself as someone who had written a story in the New York Post about it, and she went from smiles to daggers very quickly. I really thought she was going to hit me, but she's a terrorist supporter, and to think that she's representing New Yorkers who were murdered by these people, and you know,
holding these guys out as heroes.
As heroes.
So
freedom heroes. They're Marxists.
Right. In our final minute here, I want to encourage our viewers to go out and get the book Shattered Lives. Takes you through the whole journey of your dad and your family and where you are now, and all the things you've done to keep the spotlight on these terrorists. But in the final minute, what's We Win America? Well,
that's the website. A few years ago, my friend Mike Duncan and I, who went to Villanova with me. Yeah.
My brother went to Villanova.
Did he really? All right. Go Cats. He and I wrote a book called The New Founders. We brought the American founders back to life in America in 2012. And in it, George Washington becomes alive and he runs for president. His website in the book was We Win America. We turned that into our website, my website, and we publish my testimony at Eric Holder's confirmation hearing and all the things about my dad. It's a good website, has a lot of stuff on it. If you're interested in justice, in victims' rights, please take a look at it. I think you'll find it interesting.
Check out We Win America. Go out and get yourself Shattered Lives, so you can see what some of our Democratic leaders do to make heroes out of murderers. I want to thank Joe Connor very much for joining us today on a Liquid Lunch. I want to thank you for being with us through hour one, but don't go anywhere because we're coming back right after this.